And we're back. Hey guys, how you doing today? Um, really, I just want to talk about my weekend because I had a pretty good weekend. Um, and might get a little religious again, but I'm not here to preach to you, so I don't know. I just thought I'd give you a warning in case you're a person who's like, I don't want to hear about God. Blah, 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 blah. But I always say that things work in mysterious ways. Now, um, Friday, I got a call from an old friend of mine, um, and the way that I met this person was, I played a lot of video games growing up, but I didn't really have many friends um, who played video games. So, I've always wanted to meet people in my personal life who played games. Like I had friends on online and stuff like that. But to know people who could like come over your house, or you could go to their house and bring your system over and have little games, social parties and stuff like that. Always wanted to do that. I know it sounds fucking lame, but it's like the camaraderie thing and hanging out and actually having fun with each other in the same room. And that's actually one of the things that I miss about gaming back in the day. Like when you played fighting games and stuff, you could sit there and play the game side by side with a buddy, and you guys talk shit the whole time that you're beating each other's ass in this game. And with online gaming, you kind of lose this. And I don't know. It's really sad, but I just always wanted to find friends like that again. You know, so the way that I met this guy, his name is Aaron, and and I know and his brother Ian. And so one day I was walking down the street. This was after me and my ex broke up, and I rented out my mom's basement. And so I'm going back home one day from a party. Actually, tell you the truth, that is a really crazy story. Man, I think I'll tell you this story actually. So I try to be like kind of a diffuser of confrontations and things like that. And I'll get back to that because this is an even better story of how I met Ron. And so anyway, so I'm sitting at my next door neighbor's house, my friend Ryan, and his friend, I think his name was like Miguel or Enrique or something. He was Hispanic, so I'm just pulling any Hispanic name I can find. I know it wasn't a Jose or shit. It was something with like Eduardo or Miguel, something like that. But anyway, so it was his birthday. He stops by Ryan's and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to come drink? It's my birthday." Da da da. So we go back to his house to go drink, and as we're sitting there drinking, it was me, Ryan, and uh, Ryan's friend Reggie and Ryan's friend Rico. And Rico, I actually knew back in the day. Way back in the day when I used to live in Cottage Grove when I was younger. And so we go to his house and we're all hanging out, having a good time. And then I'm just gonna call him Miguel, but Miguel's friend shows up, this white kid, and everybody's cool and everybody's hanging out. But this white kid keeps on the sly saying really racist remarks, right? And I'm the type of person where I can take racism, and I'm not going to lash out and attack you or anything, or yell at you or whatever. I'd rather have a conversation about where your racism comes from. That's like the greatest thing about America and our freedoms and everything like that. But you can't get rid of racism if you just yell at each other. You have to have conversations. But anyway, so this guy keeps saying little undercuff racist bullshit to us, but or actually to Miguel. He's like sitting across the bonfire from us, and talking to Miguel, but he keeps on saying just little under the cuff shit. Like I can't necessarily remember what he was exactly saying, but it was just like he'd be talking to Miguel, and they'd be laughing. He'd be like, "Yeah," and then you invited these gorillas, and we'd all be like, "Wait, what?" And I'd be like, "No, just leave it alone." He didn't know he was whatever. And then next thing you know, like 20 minutes later, he'd be like, "Yeah, I don't really hang out with monkeys myself." I'd be like, wait, whoa, bro. So Rico, Ryan, and Reggie. I mean, these guys are like the thug type black guys. You know what I'm saying? I think Rico is from Chicago. Ryan has a lot of family in Chicago, but I think Ryan and Reggie are from Minnesota. But so this kid just keeps on saying shit, and they get super pissed off, and they're about to fucking jump this kid, right? They're about to beat the shit out of this kid. So before they can attack him, I like dart in front of them, and I take him to the side, and I'm like, "Yo, man, let's have a conversation." And I took him to the side, and I'm sitting there talking to him, and I'm like, "Yo, bro, we can all hang out, we can all chill." I'm like, it's like if you have like undercover racism in your heart, like it's cool, but tonight it's your boy's birthday, we're all trying to hang out, we don't need no trouble, man. Like, just calm down, just hang out. And then all of a sudden, like, he's just sitting there like this and listening to me, like I'm on the side of him like this, and I'm trying to like talk to him under my breath, without anybody else really hearing what we're talking about, because I don't want them to try to jump in and everything. So I'm just talking to him under my breath, and all of a sudden he shoves me off, and I go back, and then I come back up. I'm like, "Yo, bro, calm down." And then he swings at me. And I have quick reflexes. That's one thing about me. And I go down, and he misses me, and I come back up, and I'm like, "Bro, you need to calm down." And he was like, "Fuck you, nigger," and swung again. Oh, man. I'm not sure if I can say that. I might get banned for that one. But anyway, F you, N-word, right? And, I go back down, and he swings at me again, and I go back down again. And this time, we're in the grass, so this time I slipped. And I slipped back, and he goes to, like, lunge toward me. And as I'm sliding back, I just grabbed him and pulled him with his weight, pulled myself back up, and just launched myself into his face and just gave him a nice tot, and brought myself back up. And he went back, and then he went to go try to rush at me again, and I just fucking and threw him around. He went to the floor, and then he was done. And I thought that was over. I thought it was over, right? So we're sitting here, and Ryan, Enrico, and Reggie decide to leave because they're like, "I'm gonna beat this boy's ass." Da 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 da. I'm like, "Yo, man, it's cool. He's fine. Just leave it alone." And mind you, I paid for one of the bottles that we bought to go to this guy's birthday. So they was like, "Well, we gonna leave because we're about to beat this dude's ass, so we're gonna leave before we end up catching a case." So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna stay here with Miguel." I knew him a little bit. I wasn't like super friends with the guy, but I hung out with him a couple times with Ryan. So I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna stay here, finish my bottle, and I can deal with this guy's racist bullshit. Pretty sure he's not gonna try to attack me again and everything like that." So they're like, "Cool, drive off," right? So I'd say about 45 minutes to an hour goes past, right? I'm sitting across the bonfire, and this kid is on the other side talking to Miguel in his ear, just sitting there talking. They're like kind of whispering to each other, and Miguel is just like, oh man, no. And I'm sitting here like this, just like I think I was on my phone or reading a book or something like that. Yes, I read books when I drink. I'm a weird motherfucker. Me and an old friend of mine used to go out to nightclubs and dance on the dance floor, not together but like separately dancing and shit because I like to dance and so did he. And we go back to his place and we play chess. Like when bar closed at like 2, 3 in the morning, we go back to his place downtown Minneapolis and we play chess until about 6 in the morning. That's what type of drunk I am. So anyway, I digress, as always. So I'm sitting here and I'm like looking down, and next thing you know, and that's why I love my reflexes. Like I have reflexes that are out of this world. You don't even know. And he jumps over the bonfire. And as I see him jump over the bonfire, I throw my seat back. No bullshit. I throw my seat back. I go all the way back to the ground and I catch myself and I throw myself up and I just grab him and dop, dop, dop. He falls into the bonfire. Miguel's like, whoa, 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 man. And he jumps back out and he's like, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I was like, dude, how many times I gotta tell you? Don't, like, I'm trying to fucking hang out without having to fight you, man. Like, just calm the fuck down. You stay in your place, right? True story, man. No bullshit, man. I swear to God. And so Miguel was like, fuck it. And Miguel goes inside because he's like, I can't take this no more. He runs inside his house, locks the door. It's now just me and this white boy standing outside. And he's scared shitless. He's fucking beating on the door. Miguel! Miguel! I'm like, dude, I ain't gonna do shit to you. I'm gonna finish my bottle. And I just, I picked my lawn chair back up, sat down at the bonfire, and just finished drinking my bottle. And he's sitting there over there by the door, by the screen door, just like, Miguel, Miguel, you left me out here with this blackie, Miguel. And I'm just like whatever, man. So I finished my bottle. This kid goes walking off. And Miguel comes back out. I talk to him a little bit. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. Shit happens. I've dealt with worse. So I go walking home. On my walk home, this is when I meet Aaron and Ian and a couple of their neighbors and shit. And the way that I met them, I was about to light a cigarette. And all of a sudden I hear them talking about... it was one of the newer games that just came out at the time. It was still PlayStation 3 era. So it was before Grand Theft Auto 5 and everything. I'm pretty sure they were having a conversation about like one of the Halo games or something like that. I just heard these guys talking about games. I don't even care what the fuck game it was. And so this is how fucking like much I don't have friends that play games. So I put my lighter back in my pocket and I walk up to them like, hey, you guys have a lighter? And they're like, oh yeah, man. So I get the lighter from them, light my cigarette, and I get into a conversation with them about games and everything, and that's how we became friends. And then after I think we came out for another cigarette later because they invited me in and we hung out and chilled and everything. It was a good time. And we go back out for another cigarette. And I pull out a lighter, and they're like, whoa, didn't you ask us for a lighter when you walked up? I was like, oh, you caught me. Sorry, guys. I was just trying to make some new friends. And it's really hard to make new friends as you get older because, like, I don't know, it just feels weird, I guess you would say, trying to, like, befriend people, like, when you're when you're in your 20s and shit like that. It just feels weird. I don't know. It's not like being a kid and finding new friends. Like being an adult and trying to find new friends, it's weird. I've always like even talked about like going on dating sites because I don't go on dating sites at all whatsoever. And I actually just downloaded 2 dating sites like Tinder and Meet Me, I think, because I was like, you know what? I need to put myself out there and get to know people or try to get to know someone, on a personal level and maybe start a relationship or something. I don't know. I'm a nerd. I suck. Okay, like I don't know how to talk to people, but they're like you have a lighter. Like, why'd you ask us for a lighter? I'm like, well, I had a lighter, but I heard you guys talking about games, blah blah blah. I needed some gaming friends. So yeah. But anyway, so I tell you that story to tell you this one. That's how I met Ron, and we've been good friends ever since, man. Been really good friends ever since. Um, but anyway, so this Friday, he hits me up out of the blue, or his brother actually hits me up out of the blue, um, and we get to converse. Or actually, I think it was like Wednesday. It was like Wednesday or Thursday or something. When we get to conversating, I think he hit me up on Facebook on my messenger. We start talking. He's telling me that about Sekiro and asking me if I played it yet and everything. And then I sent him my number. He's like, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll see if Aaron wants to talk to you. So I sent him my number. Aaron gives me a call, and we talked for like 2 hours because we hadn't seen each other for about a year or two. And it was a really good conversation. And so he's like, man, we need to hang out. He just moved out to Cottage Grove and everything like that. Got a house. He's like, we need to hang out. I'll come pick you up and everything this weekend. He's like, I work Saturday, but I'll pick you up on Sunday. So I was like, all right, cool, man. That'd be awesome. And I was even thinking about making a video with me and Aaron, Ian, and whoever else was over there and just talking shit and his wife. Not talk shit about his wife, but his wife, of course, in the video with us, all talking shit. But when our Saturday night comes, and Saturday was actually Ian's birthday, and then I was really excited to go out there because I could possibly spend time with Ian on his birthday, stuff like that, celebrate his birthday with him. So I hit up Aaron. I'm like, hey, so you want to pick me up tonight, or you want to pick me up tomorrow morning, and you want me to like come close to meet you? Because I don't like taking people out of the way much. If somebody's gonna come pick me up from somewhere to go chill with them, or even drop me off from work or whatever, I'll try to take them or either meet them closer to where they're at, or if they're dropping me off, pretty much go in a direction that's not going to be out of their way, but where I can get to where I'm going. Because I don't like, I feel like, I don't like to take people, I don't like to waste people's time. If you're going to give me a ride somewhere or come pick me up, I'd rather it be either when you're on your way somewhere, that way I don't take you out of your way, or blah, blah, blah. I don't even know why I brought that up. But anyway, so Aaron hits me up and he's like, oh yeah, man, sorry, bro. He's like, guy called in, so I ended up having to take 3 extra shifts, so I'm gonna be working all weekend. He's like, sorry about that, bro. Maybe next weekend we can get together. I was like, oh, it's all good, man. Do what you got to, make that money. And I just sat on Facebook all night. I had no motivation. I wanted to work on, at least write out another page or two of the novel I'm working on. But I had like no motivation, so I just sat on Facebook just talking to people. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get a message from a woman that I knew, or I didn't even know her, should I say. I knew her son 20 years ago, or around 20, a little bit over 20 years ago maybe, back when I lived in Cottage Grove. And I didn't even really know him because he was like the little like runt of like the motherfucking squad. He was like the little runt. And so I guess I ended up running into him at work one day because like, it was weird. Like, I ran into him while I was at work, and then he told me that his mom worked for the same company, and this was like 3-4 months ago, right? And I never met his mom though. And then plus, I never even gave him my number, right? So all of a sudden, like, I'm sitting there. It was like probably about like midnight, 1 in the morning, and I'm just sitting on Facebook, talking shit, things like that, sharing shit, reconnecting with some people, and out of nowhere, I get a message of a Google Maps image of a church and the address, and then she sends me a message of a time, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, do you know who you're sending this to? I'm like, I think you might have the wrong number. And she was like, oh yeah, I do. She's like, can you? I just know that Jesus is looking for you, and I want you to come down here and just hear the word of God and all this. And I'm like, what? Like, it's so weird how all of this is kind of falling into place, right? So turns out I ended up going down there today. I got there like half an hour late because when I don't want to do things, I procrastinate. That's why I'm always late to work. But that's why I'm always late to shit. But anyway, so I get down there, and my old supervisor, one of my other bosses from the job that I just lost, it was her church. So she ended up, I guess her and the other lady, Tracy, the kid's mother that I knew, they were talking, and she said, or I guess her son knew me, and then came up in their conversation with her and Michelle. So Michelle gave her my number and everything, or I guess she asked Michelle for my number, uh, and asked me to come to church. And that's what I mean. Like when I pray, when I've been praying, I don't ask for anything else but for God just to send me angels to guide me to happiness. And that's what I always say. Like when I pray, I don't ask for money. I don't ask for material things. All I ask for is happiness and just to be happy in my life. And if you can send me an angel to guide me on that path to happiness, I you know I'd be much appreciative. And that's what I think happened. You know, is she was another angel that he sent to bring me to him. And again, I don't mean to be preachy. I don't want to be preachy. I'm trying to go through this whole thing by myself, but I like to you know just share my experiences throughout this whole thing until because it's just like the weirdest thing. I did a testimony today. Like I went down there not caring, and I was just like, I'm just gonna stand here and not give a fuck because I don't like churches. I feel like churches are like the demon's bidding or the devil's bidding. I feel like I've always felt like this. I should say, but this one was different because I've been to a lot of churches. I've been to churches out in Maple Grove, Cottage Grove, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Like I'll just stop in sometime and sit down in the back or stand in the back and like listen to a sermon and everything. And I've done that for years, even when I was an atheist, even when I was agnostic. I've just done it just to see what these people are talking about and everything like that. And I've never had the type of feeling that I got from today. And I got it mostly from an older black man who was one of the ministers up there, and he gave his sermon. And I guess he was baptized at 74 years old. His wife was a minister, or his ex actually was a minister. And I guess she's been there for 25 years, and she's an ex-crackhead, and it's her church now and everything like that. And, and even her, like the guy's daughter went up there and told a testimony. I guess she's been there for like 19 years. And she's the one that's how I found out about him, is in her testimony. She talked about how she came and watched her father be baptized by her priest when he was 74 years old, and he was the drummer at the time. When they were talking, when she was doing her testimony, like he was the guy on the drums, and he had a really, really hard, or really inspiring speech or sermon or whatever you want to call it. It was very inspiring. It really, it almost spoke to me. You know what I'm saying? Like he was talking about like a lot of things that I do in my life, like just how I started praying. Like he's like, when you pray, you don't pray for material things. You don't ask God for yourself, for your own gains and everything like that. You don't ask for money because money ain't gonna do shit for you. You know. He said when you pray, you just ask God to show you a path to success, whatever that success may be. And my success, honestly, is happiness. I just want to be happy. I don't care what path this leads me down to gain this type of success. Like if I'm broke for the rest of my life, but I can help people for the rest of my life, or I can inspire people to do more. And I have a story about a kid over in India, uh, Shivam, who I inspired. He has cerebral palsy or something like that. I have to go ask him what his actual ailment is. But when I met this kid years ago, he was in a wheelchair. He was an IT student, but he was in a wheelchair and everything. And I met him through a gaming site, and he started like private messaging me, and I just talked to him. And then one day he told me that he had dreams of becoming like a muscle man, a muscle competitor, you know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff. And I was like, why not? Why don't you do it? And then he was like, because I got this fucking disease. And, you know, it's the one where, you know, your arm's all twisted and shit, and his neck's all to the side and everything like that. I don't know what that is. I think it's cerebral palsy, but I could be wrong. But he had no confidence to do this, you know? And I'm sorry about the echo. I forgot to close the door. But he had no confidence to do this. And for the next like 2 or 3 years after he brought this up, I would just drill it into his head like, no, you can do it, bro. And then he would send me pictures of him working out, and sometimes we'd like video chat, and you know I you know, just like give him inspiration and stuff, you know. And now I'm so proud of this kid. Like when I first saw, he sent me a post. He tagged me in one of his posts of his first muscle man competition. I think he came in third place or something. And I was with my ex sitting in the car, and we just came out of like Magnolias or something. And I just broke down crying because it made me so happy to see this kid succeed in something that he wanted to do. And now this kid, I mean, he's living his dream, man. Like, sometimes I go and I look at this kid's pictures, and he's living his dream, man. He has a beautiful wife. He's got beautiful people around him. He's like modeling now. It's awesome, man. I love it. And that's what I mean. Like, I don't care. I really don't care about my life. Like, I care about my life. Like, don't get me wrong about how I'm wording this. Like, I care about my life because I have to care about my life. But at the same time, if I see someone in need and I can inspire them or give them inspiration, or even help them out with any type of money or something like that. Like if I have only $20 on me and I see somebody else needs that $20 more than I do, I don't care if I need it, but if they need it more than I do, they're getting $20. And I'm just going to wait until the next time I get money or the next time my check comes in or something like that. That's just the way I am as a person. And I love how I am. And everybody hates me for it. I wouldn't say hate, but everybody always ridicules me for it. Of me always looking out for other people instead of looking out for myself. And, you know, it honestly offends me sometimes when people are fucking, I've had people get mad at me for helping other people. And that's why I actually started cutting people like that out of my life. That's why I don't talk to half of my family, is because like they don't support me helping other people, and I can't be a selfish person. Person. I can't be a selfish person. It's not. It's not in my soul. I can't say my blood because half my family is selfish as shit. So it's in my blood, but it's just not in me. Like my will and my soul are stronger than my bloodline, and I love to give back as much as I can. I love to help people. That's what makes me truly happy in life. Is helping others, being as selfless as I possibly can. No matter if I get fucked over in the end, like that's what I mean about having morals and sticking to your morals. You know, people try to break you out of your morals. You know, like this fucking lady who tricked me into moving in with her, and the reason that I'm homeless right now. Like she just sent me a threat tonight that she's gonna throw all my shit out, or have the city come pick it up and throw it in the dump and shit like that. But when I met this lady, and she was, I thought I was tricked. It was again devil in disguise, man. She was telling me how she was a woman of the Lord, and she was Catholic and everything, and wanted to pray with me and all this stuff. And then she talked me into moving in with her to be her PCA, and talked me into moving all my shit in with her. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I wake up in the morning one day and all my shit's in the middle of the fucking living room, and she's bitching about my stuff being there, even though it was sitting in a corner, the corner she told me to put it in. And all the rest of my shit was in the attic. It was just like my main stuff that I had sitting in the corner, like my stuff for washing, and you know, things like that, my work clothes. And all of a sudden, but she was bipolar, and she had multiple personality disorder. So I tried to handle it. I tried to still help her, even though she kept on like coming at me all crazy and shit. And what ended up drawing the line was that morning I woke up and she's bitching about all my stuff. And I had just cleaned the house, mind you. I mean, I cleaned her entire house, like top to bottom, cleaned the kitchen. She was so happy, and that's what she was asking me to do as her PCA. And she said that once I actually got down there to fill out the application, that I get paid for all that stuff, and I would go to the store for her. I'd go pick up tobacco for her, and filters and everything like that. And sometimes I'd buy it with my own money and just tell her not to worry about it, and don't worry about paying me back and stuff like that. Because I do things for people when I appreciate people. I try to show people that I'm not trying to use them for personal gain. Like if you give me a place to stay, if you lend me a hand, I take that with the utmost appreciation, and I will try to give back to you as much as I possibly can with what I can do, whether that means cleaning something up, whether that means helping you out in a certain way, paying some bills when I get some money, putting some money into the house, buying, you know, some groceries for the house, things like that. That's what I try to do. And another reason why I think that she kind of snapped out is she kept on telling me about her husband, and like from the day that I moved in, she kept trying to do things for me, like cook me things and stuff like that. But I cook my own dinners. I you know, do my own work. I take care of myself. I don't need a mother figure, and that's the thing with a lot of women when they get with a man, is they want to be like a mother figure. No, I need somebody who can support me, like mentally, but I don't need you to take care of me. I don't need to be coddled, you know. And that's what she kept getting mad about, because every time she asked me if I wanted something, or she tried to give me something, I turn it down. Or you know, I'd be, you know, going through my I'd be budgeting, or you know, writing out like a little spreadsheet or something, and she'd be like, "Oh, you want me to do that for you? I used to do that for my husband all the time. Actually, I still do stuff like that for my ex-husband and everything." And da 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 da, and I'd be like, oh no, I got this, I can do it myself, and she'd get super mad. She'd always be like, Ryan, this is just the type of person I am. Like, I'm gonna keep on offering to do things for you, whether you like it or not. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna keep on refusing your offers, whether you like it or not, because I mean, I'm a person, I'm self-sufficient. I don't need people to take care of me. And that's the thing. Like, yeah, I might need a significant other when it comes to money and bills and rent and stuff like that, because with my student loans and or student debt and everything and child support and shit like that, I don't make enough money for myself to uh, hold an apartment, and all that stuff, right? So I try to, I always try to give where I can't, um, or I try to give back when somebody else has a certain part of something in the relationship. If you pay most of the bills, and then I have no problem like cleaning the house, doing the yard work, taking care of the kids, make sure they're up and out for school in the morning and stuff like that. And I love doing that stuff, and I'll still work at the same time. But I understand my place in the relationship. I'm not gonna talk down on you. I'm not gonna fucking try to act like I'm any better than you and stuff like that. I'm a person who I know a lot of shit, so I always get shit for always thinking I'm right. But it's just because I know a lot of shit. I'm very well educated, So if a person can't take me like correcting them on something, or having more context in things we speak about than they do, like people literally get frustrated with me because of my intelligence. Like they get mad that I'm smart and smarter than them. Especially, I get this a lot with white people, and like I've been with people who have been to college, have degrees and stuff like that, and I'm more intelligent than them, and they get fucking pissed off because I think in their head they think that they have a degree, they're white, or whatever, and I'm just a lowly black guy, dropped out of high school, went to like a trade school, did a little bit of college, dropped out twice, 2 or 3 times, I think. And so they don't expect me to be able to hold an intellectual conversation, or intellectual conversation. See, I'm talking about being smart, and I'm retarded as shit. But anyway, all I'm saying is like that today showed me that God does work in mysterious ways, and that God is real, and that maybe I should look into going to this church, and I think I will. He told me, I talked to the minister Dave today. He gave me his personal number because he chased me outside after I left because I gave my testimony. I gave a testimony at the end, just told him my whole journey of atheism to agnosticism, Jesus, to finding God about a month ago, and I felt like I had to give that story, before I left. And I stood in the back the whole time and just listened to the whole thing. I didn't sit down not one time. And even the usher kept on coming up, like, are you gonna sit? You can go ahead and sit down. And I'm like, no. And even one of these things, like they tried to give me one of these, and I was like, no, I'm all right. And after I left, this woman comes out she was in one of those wheelchair scooter things, and her bus is picking her up. And all of a sudden, the bus driver comes over after he puts her on the bus, and he's like, hey, this woman wanted you to have this. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, tell her I said thank you. So I had to take it. That's what this thing is. This little, trying to bring it back to life. But And then this other guy, I met a native guy at the bus stop who pretty much told me that he, he wants to do better and everything like that. So I gave him my number, wrote my number down for him. I really hope he does call me because I want to try to help him. And I want to try to get him off of alcohol. And I'm not gonna like start preaching to him or anything, but I feel like I try to get native people off of alcohol all the time. I think that alcohol is the worst thing for native people altogether. Like natives do not need alcohol at all. I feel like it killed their culture. And with my children being of Ojibwe heritage, and this guy was Ojibwe as well, it's like a special place in my heart to try to help natives with their alcoholism. So I really hope this guy gives me a call one of these days. And I told him I'll come hang out, man, and I'll try to help you get back on your feet, help you find a job and stuff like that, get cleaned up. I got clippers and shit. I'll fucking shave you up, go get some shit, man. I'll help you get back into business, man. I told him like next time you grab some money, go to Goodwill, get yourself a nice outfit because his clothes are all tattered and shit. He was telling me how much he wanted to find a new job and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try to. If he calls me, I will help him, and I will make it a goal to help him. And you know, but anyway, thank you guys for listening. It's a long one again. Sorry, but I, if anything, I hope somebody watches this and inspires somebody to take the next step, and if not a religious path, uh, let it be the next step in their own life of bettering their life. That's all I ask for is for you to better yourself. Like, you don't have to agree with me about God. You don't have to believe in God because I didn't believe in God for years. I was an atheist my whole life and become agnostic until I was about 26 years old. So that's all I'm saying. I know He's real now. I've accepted this, and I hope that He keeps he stays with me, and I hope He keeps me on a good path. But I can't I can't tell anybody else to take that path. They have to accept it for themselves, and that's what the Bible says. You can't force it down somebody's throat. They have to accept it. You can give them the information, but they have to accept it themselves. And that's the true thing, and that's why I don't like the people who sit on the side of the fucking roads talking about how people are sinners and stuff. Like, they're sinning right there, yelling out the word of God and telling people that they're sinning for not believing in Him. Like, people have to take the step themselves individually to believe in Him. You can't have somebody force you to believe. That's the thing, and that's how I found God and found out He was real, is because I made sure I found Him myself. I made sure that I wasn't being forced into it. I made sure that I wasn't taking anybody else's word for it. I found Him myself, and I'm glad I did. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. It's been the Black Recluse. You guys have a good night. Enjoy your day.